Welcome back to our channel.
Hello.
We're your hosts, Eric and Lisa.
Okay, what are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is literally. Then we will continue with various and at any rate. Then at the most, and the final one is to bring up. The first word is literally.
Literally.
Literally. Literally is an adverb. It means exactly or actually. It's used to emphasize that something is true or accurate. When you say something happened literally, you mean it happened exactly as you described. For example, if you say, "I literally jumped for joy."
It means the person actually jumped because he was very joyful.
Exactly, Lisa. Here's another example. She was literally on cloud 9 after receiving the good news.
It means that she was extremely happy and excited as if she were actually on cloud 9, which is an imaginary place of happiness.
She literally ran to the store to buy some milk.
It means that she actually ran to the store, not just walked quickly.
Great explanations, Lisa.
Thank you, Eric.
Okay, now, let's give a sample dialogue using the word.
Mia, you won't believe it. I literally saw a movie star at the coffee shop yesterday.
Really? That's amazing. Who was it?
It was Chris Evans. He was literally right in front of me in the line.
Wow, that's so cool. Did you talk to him?
No, I was too shocked to say anything, but it was literally the best day ever.
That was a simple and nice dialogue, right?
Yes, it was. Now, let's talk a bit more about the word. Do you think literally is easy to use?
Yes, I think. It is easy to use once you know what it means. You can use it to show that something is true in a real sense. How about you, Eric? Do you use literally often?
Yes, I use it quite a lot, especially when I want to emphasize that something really happened. It's useful to show that you're not exaggerating. Lisa, speaking of literally, have you ever gone skydiving?
No, I haven't. I'm literally too scared to try it. How about you, Eric?
I haven't either, but it's definitely on my bucket list. It must be very exciting, I can imagine.
I bet, but I think I'll stick to keeping my feet on the ground for now.
That's fair. Maybe we should try something a little less extreme?
Maybe.
All right. We'll find something a little more low-key for our next adventure.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for understanding it. And that's all for the word. Let's continue with the next word.
The next word is various.
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 Various means many different kinds. We use it to talk about more than one kind of thing.
That's right. Various is an adjective, and we use it before a noun. For example, various fruits or various places.
Great. Now let's give 2 example sentences. I'll say the first one. I have various books in my bag.
It means that I have many different kinds of books in my bag. Some might be novels, some might be textbooks, and some might be magazines.
Good example. Okay, the second one, she likes to visit various countries.
It means that she likes to visit many different countries, not just 1 or 2, but many.
Exactly. Let's remember that various can come before any noun. It helps us talk about more than one kind of thing.
Yes, Lisa. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the word various.
Sure.
Hi, Mary. What did you do over the weekend?
Hi, John. I did various activities. I went hiking, read a book, and cooked a new recipe.
That sounds fun. I also did various things, such as playing soccer, watching a movie, and visiting my grandparents.
Wow, John. We both had busy weekends with various activities.
Yes, we did.
Nice dialogue. Eric, why do you think it's important to use words like various?
Using words like various helps us be more specific. Instead of saying many or different, we can use various to show that there are different kinds of things.
That's a good point. It makes our sentences more interesting and clear. For example, when I said I did various activities, you knew I did more than one kind of thing.
Yes, and in the dialogue we saw how various helped us explain our weekends better. Instead of listing every single activity, we used various to summarize them.
Exactly. It's a useful word for summarizing and giving more details without being too long.
Okay, the next word is at any rate.
At any rate?
At any rate.
So, at any rate means whatever happens or anyway. It's used to show that something is true or will happen no matter what else happens.
Yes, that's right. Now, let's give some example sentences to help understand the word better. The weather is not great, but at any rate, we will go to the park.
It means that even though the weather is not good, we will still go to the park.
Exactly. Here is the second one. He didn't finish his homework, but at any rate, he went to the class.
It means that he went to the class even though he didn't finish his homework.
Perfect. Now, let's explain a bit about the grammar. At any rate is an idiom. You can use it in any part of the sentence, usually at the beginning or the end.
Yes, it's quite flexible. Shall we give them an example dialogue using at any rate?
Sure.
Maria, I heard it might rain this weekend. Do you think we should cancel our trip?
I don't think so, John. At any rate, we can bring umbrellas.
That's true. We have been planning this trip for a long time. At any rate, we should go and have fun.
Exactly. Rain or shine, we will enjoy our time.
Lisa, do you think at any rate is easy to use?
Yes, I think it is easy to use once you know what it means. You can use it to show that something will happen, no matter what. How about you, Eric? Do you use at any rate often?
Yes, I use it quite a lot, especially when making plans. It's useful when you want to show determination or certainty.
That's true. Do you remember any funny situations where you use this phrase?
Yes, once I was planning a picnic with friends. The weather was terrible, but I said, at any rate, we are having this picnic. We ended up having it indoors, but it was fun.
That's a good example. It shows that at any rate can be used in different situations, right?
Exactly. It's very versatile.
Well, that's all for at any rate. We hope our listeners now understand how to use it.
The next word is at the most.
At the most.
At the most. It's a phrase we use when we want to talk about the maximum possible amount or number. Imagine you're planning a trip and you say, we'll need 2 suitcases at the most. That means you won't need more than 2 suitcases, maybe even just 1.
Ah, got it. So it's about setting an upper limit. But can you give us an example sentence?
Sure. Let's say you're organizing a small party at your place. You might tell your friend, we're expecting 10 guests at the most. It means you don't expect more than 10 people to show up.
Perfect. And how about explaining the example sentence? What does at the most really mean?
Great question, Lisa. When we say at the most, we're emphasizing that the actual number won't exceed the specified limit. It's like saying no more than this. So, in our example, 10 guests at the most means no more than 10, maybe even fewer.
I see, it's like putting a limit on things. But what if someone says, I'll be there in 20 minutes at the most?
If someone says that, it means they'll arrive within 20 minutes. But it might even be less time. It's a way of being optimistic about the duration.
Makes sense. Now let's make a sample dialogue using at the most.
How long do you think the trip to the beach will take?
It should take 2 hours at the most.
That's not too bad. And how much money should we bring?
I think we need $50 at the most for food and drinks.
Do you think people tend to say a time, more or less?
Interesting question. I think it varies. Some people are optimistic and think things will happen faster, while others like to be safe and give a longer forecast.
I see. The best approach is to be balanced, try to guess the exact limit, and say it.
Agreed, Lisa. Okay, and listeners, remember to use at the most when you want to set a maximum limit. Keep it simple, and you'll sound like a language pro.
Okay, we have reached to the last word today.
The last word is to bring up.
To bring up.
To bring up.
What does to bring up mean, Eric?
To bring up means to start talking about something or to mention something in a conversation. For example, if you start talking about your weekend plans in a meeting, you bring up your weekend plans.
If so, is this sentence correct, Eric? During the meeting, she brought up the new project.
Yes, Lisa, that's correct. It means that she started talking about the new project in the meeting.
Now it's your turn, Eric.
All right, he brought up an interesting idea during dinner.
It means that he mentioned or started talking about an interesting idea while they were having dinner.
Great. Now let's talk about some grammar points. To bring up is a phrasal verb and is separable. So we can use bring something up or bring up something. Both are correct.
Yes, and it's often used in informal and formal conversations. Now, let's give a sample dialogue using the phrase.
Sarah, did you bring up the budget problem in the meeting today?
Yes, I brought it up, and the manager said we would discuss it next week.
I see. You know, we have some other problems too. We should also bring them up.
I know. I will bring up all of our problems next week.
Lisa, why do you think Sarah says, I brought it up, when John asks about the budget problem?
Sarah says, I brought it up to show that she mentioned or started talking about the budget problem in the meeting.
Exactly. Lisa, have you ever brought up a topic in a meeting?
Yes, I have. Once, I brought up the issue of late deliveries in a team meeting, and we found a solution together.
That's a good example. It's important to bring up problems so they can be discussed and solved. Do you have another example, Lisa?
Sure, and this is both an example and a real situation. During our last dinner together, my friend brought up the idea of going on a trip next weekend. It was a great suggestion, and now we're planning a trip.
Oh, great. I hope you enjoy your trip.
I hope so, Eric. Thank you.
All right, that's all for today's episode of Simply Explained English.
Okay, what are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is bucket list. Then we will continue with to blame and the last straw. Then get to the point. And the final one is catch up with. The first word is bucket list.
Bucket list. A bucket list is a list of things you want to do before you die. It can include anything you dream of doing, like traveling to a new country, learning a new skill, or meeting a famous person. The term bucket list comes from the phrase, kick the bucket, which means to die.
That's right, Lisa. Let's give our listeners some examples of sentences using bucket list. Traveling to Japan is on my bucket list. It means that traveling to Japan is something I really want to do before I die.
Here's the second example. She has skydiving on her bucket list. It means that she wants to go skydiving before she dies.
Perfect. Now we should also mention that bucket list is a noun. It often comes with the preposition on, like in our examples. On my bucket list, or on her bucket list. Then we will continue a sample dialogue.
Hey, Anna, do you have a bucket list?
Yes, I do. One thing on my bucket list is to visit the Grand Canyon. How about you?
I have a bucket list too. I want to learn how to play the guitar.
That sounds great. What else is on your bucket list?
I also want to go scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Wow, those are exciting goals. I hope you get to do them all.
That was a nice dialogue, Eric. I really liked how Tom and Anna shared their bucket list items.
Yes, it was interesting. Lisa, do you have a bucket list?
Yes, I do. On my bucket list, I want to visit Italy and see the Colosseum.
That sounds amazing. Why do you want to see the Colosseum?
I love history, and the Colosseum is a very famous historical place. What about you, Eric? What's on your bucket list?
I want to learn how to surf. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Surfing sounds exciting. Have you ever tried it before?
No, I haven't. But it's something I really want to try.
That's a great idea, Eric. So let's move on to the next word.
The next word is to blame.
To blame.
To blame.
Great choice. To blame is a verb. It means to say or think that someone or something is responsible for something bad.
Perfect. Now let's talk about a grammar rule. When you use to blame, you can follow it with for. and then a noun. If you use a verb, you should use ing form of the verb. For example, blame somebody for the accident or blame somebody for breaking the vase.
Exactly. Now let's give some example sentences. The teacher blamed the student for the mistake.
It means that the teacher said the student made the mistake.
Good job. Here is the second example sentence. He blamed his little brother for his broken phone.
It means that he said his little brother made his phone broken.
Jamie, why did you blame me for the lost keys?
I didn't mean to blame you, Alex. I just thought you had them last.
But I told you, I gave them to Sarah. It's not my fault.
I'm sorry. I think I should blame myself for not remembering.
It's okay, Jamie. Let's just find the keys together.
That was a nice dialogue. Lisa, why did Jamie blame Alex for the lost keys?
Jamie thought Alex had the keys last. What did Alex say to explain?
Alex said he gave the keys to Sarah. He said it was not his fault. Why did Jamie apologize?
Jamie realized that she made a mistake. She said he should blame himself. Do you think Jamie and Alex will find the keys?
Yes, I think so. They will work together to find them.
This was a good practice. We learned how to use to blame in sentences and in a dialogue.
The next word is the last straw.
The last straw.
The last straw.
This phrase means the final problem or difficulty in a series of problems that makes a person lose their patience or take action.
Yes, it's like when you have had enough of something, and if one more thing happens that makes you say, "That's it, I can't take it anymore."
Exactly. For example, after missing the bus and spilling coffee on her shirt, forgetting her keys, was the last straw for Sarah.
It means that Sarah had many small problems, and forgetting her keys was the final problem that made her very upset.
Now, your turn, Eric.
When the car broke down again, it was the last straw for John. He decided to buy a new one.
It means that John had already many problems with his car before, and when it broke down again, he decided that he couldn't handle it anymore and buy a new car.
Good explanations, Lisa. Let's give a sample dialogue using the last straw.
Hi, Tom. You look really upset. What happened?
Hi, Anna. I am upset. My boss gave me more work today, even though I already have too much. It was the last straw.
Oh, no. That sounds terrible. What will you do?
I decided to leave my job. It was the last straw. I just won't be able to take it anymore.
That was a sad but useful dialogue. It shows how the last straw can be used in a conversation.
Yes, it does. So, Lisa, have you ever experienced a last straw moment?
Yes, I have. One time, my computer kept crashing while I was working on an important project. When it crashed for the third time, it was the last straw, and I decided to get a new computer.
I understand how that can be very frustrating. For me, it was when my neighbor's dog kept barking every night. When it happened again, and I couldn't sleep, it was the last straw, and I called the police.
It's interesting how the last straw can be different for everyone. It shows how we all have different limits.
Yes, that's true, and it's a useful phrase to know because it helps us explain those moments when we just can't take anymore. Okay, the next word is get to the point.
Get to the point.
Get to the point.
Get to the point. This phrase means to talk about the most important part of something instead of unnecessary details.
Yes, it's used when someone wants you to say what is important quickly and clearly.
During the meeting, the boss asked everyone to get to the point and stop talking about unrelated things.
It means that the boss wanted everyone to talk only about the important parts and not waste time on other topics. This is my example. I was in a hurry, so I asked my friend to get to the point when telling the story.
It means that the person wanted his friend to tell the important part of the story quickly because he didn't have much time.
It's important to note that get to the point is quite direct and can be considered a bit impolite in formal situations. In formal settings, it might be better to say something like, "Could you please summarize the main points?" Or, "Can we focus on the key issues?"
Yes, using more polite alternatives is a good idea in formal contexts. Now, let's give a sample dialogue using get to the point.
Hi, Jane. Can we talk about the project?
Sure, Mark.
Well, I think we need to make some changes to the design.
Okay, but can you get to the point? We don't have much time.
Right. The main issue is the color scheme. I think we should use different colors.
I see. That makes sense. Let's work on it.
So Lisa, have you ever had to ask someone to get to the point?
Yes, I have. One time my friend was telling me a long story, but I needed to leave soon. So I asked her to get to the point.
I understand. Sometimes people talk too much about details, and we just want to know the important part.
Exactly. For me, it's usually during meetings. When there is a lot to discuss, it's important to get to the point quickly.
Yes, sometimes it can be a waste of time.
Okay, Eric, time to explain our last word today.
The last word is catch up with.
Catch up with.
Catch up with. So, catch up is a common phrasal verb in English. It has a few different meanings, but today we'll focus on the most common one. When you catch up with someone, it means you meet or talk to them after a period of time during which you haven't seen or spoken to each other.
For example, if you haven't seen your friend for a while, you might say, "Let's meet for coffee and catch up."
Exactly, Lisa. And it's not just about meeting in person. You can also catch up with someone over the phone or even through messages. It's all about reconnecting and finding out what's been happening in each other's lives.
Now let's give a couple of example sentences to explain this. Eric, can you start?
Sure. Let's say you have a friend named Alex. You haven't seen Alex in a few months because they moved to a different city. One day you run into Alex at a cafe. You might say, "Hey, Alex, long time, no see. We should grab lunch sometime and catch up."
Perfect. And here's another example. Imagine you're talking to your cousin on the phone. You ask, "How's everything going?" Your cousin replies, "Well, I've been really busy with work, but I'd love to catch up soon." That means your cousin wants to have a longer conversation to update you on their life.
Exactly. Now, let's make a sample dialogue using the word catch up.
Jack, it's been ages since we hung out like this. How have you been?
I know, Rosa. Work, family, you name it. But I'm glad we're finally getting a chance to catch up.
Me too. So tell me, did you ever finish that novel you were writing?
Not yet, but I'm getting there. How about you? How's your new job?
Oh, it's been challenging, but I'm learning a lot. By the way, did you hear about Sarah? She's back in town.
Really? I haven't seen her since college. We definitely need to catch up with her.
Agreed. Let's invite her for coffee next week. We can all catch up on old memories.
That was a nice dialogue, Lisa. And notice how they used catch up twice. Once when talking about each other, and once when mentioning Sarah.
Right. Catch up is very useful when you want to meet someone and share news.
Do you often say catch up with your friends, Lisa?
Yes, I do. I use it a lot when I haven't seen my friends for a long time. How about you, Eric?
Me too. It's a nice way to stay connected with friends.
I agree. And it's easy to remember. Just think about catching something to reach the same place.
That's a good tip. I hope our listeners find it helpful.
Yes, I hope so too. Okay, what are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is entire. Then we will continue with to insist and above all. Then to mess up. And the final one is it's not my cup of tea. The first word is entire.
Entire.
Entire. Entire is an adjective that means whole, complete, or full. When you say entire, you're talking about all of something without leaving out any part.
I spent the entire day cleaning my house. This means that I cleaned my house from morning to night. Here's another one. She ate the entire cake by herself. This means that she ate the whole cake, not just a piece of it. Now let's have a sample dialogue using the word entire.
How was your vacation, Mary?
It was fantastic. We spent the entire week exploring the city.
Wow, the entire week? What did you do?
We visited all the famous landmarks, tried local cuisine, and even took a day trip to the nearby mountains. It was an entire week of adventure.
In this dialogue, Mary used entire twice to emphasize that they spent the whole week exploring and having adventures.
It's a great way to show that they made the most of their vacation time.
Definitely. Speaking of vacations, have you ever taken an entire month off to travel?
I haven't, but it's definitely on my bucket list. I think it would be amazing to have an entire month to explore a new country or go on a long road trip.
Yeah, I agree. I've always wanted to spend an entire month traveling around Europe and visiting as many countries as possible.
That sounds incredible. I'm sure you would have so many amazing experiences and memories from an entire month of travel.
But I think I would need to save up for quite a while to afford an entire month of travel expenses.
True, it would definitely require some planning and budgeting, but I think it would be worth it for the opportunity to have an entire month of adventure and discovery.
Couldn't agree more. Maybe we should start planning our own entire month of travel someday.
Count me in. But for now, let's wrap up our discussion of the word entire.
So, entire means whole, complete, or full, and it's used to emphasize that you're talking about all of something without leaving out any part.
Like an entire vacation or an entire day spent doing something.
Yes, Lisa.
Okay, let's move on to our next word.
The next word is to insist.
To insist.
To insist. To insist means to keep saying something when others disagree with or oppose what you say because you believe it is important. For example, my mom insists that I finish my homework before playing video games. It means that my mom keeps saying, after I finish my homework, I can play video games. She thinks this is very important.
Now I'll give the second example sentence. He insisted on coming with us to the store.
It means that he really wanted to come with us to the store, and he kept saying it until we said okay.
We use insist in two ways. Sometimes we use on, then something, or doing something after it. Like, he insisted on doing nothing wrong.
The second way is, if you insist that someone does something, we use that. For example, John insists that he is right.
Yes, that's a good point, Eric. Now let's have a sample dialogue using the word insist.
Hey, do you want to go to the park?
Sure, but my sister insists that I clean my room first.
Oh no. Does she always insist on things like that?
Yes, she does. She insists on everything being perfect.
Well, let's clean your room quickly then.
Why do you think people insist on things?
I think people insist because they believe something is very important, or they want something very much. For example, parents might insist that their children do their homework because they want them to learn.
Yes, that's true. In our dialogue, my sister insisted that I clean my room because she wants the house to be tidy.
Well, some people feel happy when everything is clean and in order.
Agreed. Eric, do you often insist on things?
Sometimes, yes, for example. I insist on doing my work on time. What about you, Lisa?
I usually insist on healthy eating. I think it's very important.
That's a good habit.
Yes, it is. Okay, is there anything else we need to say about to insist, Eric?
Just a reminder that insist is often used with on or that. For example, insist on doing something or insist that something is true.
And remember, it's a strong way to say you really want something to happen or believe something is true.
Exactly. Well, that's all for to insist. The next word is above all.
Above all.
Above all.
Above all means more than anything else or most importantly. We use it when we want to say that one thing is more important than other things.
Above all is often used to highlight the most important point or thing.
Above all, you must be kind to others.
It means that being kind to others is the most important thing, more important than anything else.
Now the second example. She loves many things, but above all, she loves painting.
It means that painting is the thing she loves the most, more than other things she loves.
When we use above all, it helps to show what is the most important.
It's a good point, Lisa. Now, let's have a sample dialogue using the phrase above all.
I enjoy reading and cooking, but above all, I love painting.
That's interesting. I think painting is good, but above all, I enjoy playing soccer.
It sounds like we both have things we love the most.
That was a nice dialogue, Eric. Now let's talk a bit about the phrase above all. What would you say about the usage of the word above all?
I think it's important because it helps us express what is most important to us. For example, in the dialogue, they talked about what they preferred the most.
Yes, and using above all makes our sentences clearer and stronger. Do you use this phrase often?
Yes, I do, especially when I want to make a point about what matters the most to me.
Can you think of another situation where we might use this phrase?
Sure. For example, if I am talking about what I enjoy doing, I might say, I enjoy going on holiday, but above all, going somewhere with friends is the best.
That's a good example. It's a simple way to let people know what you value the most.
Absolutely. And it's useful in many different situations.
Well, that's all for above all.
The next word is to mess up.
To mess up.
To mess up.
Mess up is a phrasal verb. It means to make a mistake or to do something badly. It is often used when something goes wrong because of a mistake. For example, when you spill coffee on your favorite shirt or forget your friend's birthday. You've messed up.
Exactly, it's versatile. We can use it in various situations. For instance, if you're cooking and accidentally burn the pancakes, you'd say, "Oops, I messed up the pancakes."
And it's not just about physical actions. You can also mess up plans, relationships, or even your own schedule. Imagine you're late for a meeting. You'd say, "I really messed up my morning routine today."
I totally messed up my presentation at work. In this sentence, someone made a mistake during their work presentation. It means that during the presentation, something went wrong. Maybe the slides didn't work properly, or the speaker lost fluency. The important thing is that they made a mistake, and this mistake affected their performance.
Good explanation. This is mine. She messed up her chances of getting the job by arriving late to the interview. In this case, messing up refers to the person being late. Being late has damaged his chances of being hired. She didn't make a good impression.
Absolutely, Lisa. And remember, mess up can be used with or without an object. When we say, "I messed up," it means I made a mistake in general. When we add an object, like, "I messed up the test," it tells us the test was affected by the mistake.
Great point, Eric.
Mark, I must say, I messed up yesterday.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, I was supposed to meet my friend for lunch, but I completely forgot. She waited for me for more than an hour. I messed up her day. I felt terrible.
It sometimes happens to everybody, but you should apologize soon and plan another lunch date. And don't forget next time.
It was a good example of the usage of mess up.
Agreed. And speaking of making things right, how about you, Eric? Any recent mess-ups?
Oh, I spilled coffee on my laptop this morning. It's a mess, but luckily it's still working.
Eric, you really know how to mess up a good laptop. This was the second time you spilled your coffee.
Hey, at least it wasn't my phone this time.
Okay. Anyway, you should be careful otherwise. New laptops are very expensive nowadays.
Yes, I know, Lisa. Thank you for your reminder. The last word is, it's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea.
Yes, it is an idiom. If something is not your cup of tea, it is not the type of thing you like or are interested in. Example: thanks for inviting me, but concerts are not really my cup of tea.
Yes, that's right. We use this idiom to say that something is not to our taste or preference. Let me use it in some sentences. Watching horror movies is not my cup of tea. This means that I do not like watching horror movies. They do not interest me.
Or, playing soccer is fun, but it's not my cup of tea.
It means that I think playing soccer is fun for others, but I do not enjoy playing it myself.
When we use this idiom, we often talk about activities or things we do not like.
Yes, that's a good point, Lisa. And have a sample dialogue using the idiom, "It's not a cup of my tea." Hey, do you want to go to the rock concert tonight?
Rock music is not a cup of my tea. How about going to the movies instead?
Sure, we can do that too. But why don't you like rock music?
I just prefer quieter music. Rock is too loud for me.
I understand. Everyone has different tastes. Okay, let's get back to the idiom. Why do you think this idiom is useful, Lisa?
I think it's useful because it's a polite way to say you don't like something. Instead of saying, I don't like it, you can say, it's not my cup of tea. And it sounds nicer, doesn't it? In our dialogue, I said that rock music is not my cup of tea.
Exactly. And using this idiom helps us gently express our dislikes.
Yes, it does. Do you think there are other idioms like this that learners should know?
There are many idioms in English, but it's not my cup of tea is a good one to start with because it's easy to understand and use.
I agree. And it's also fun to say.
Yes, it's fun. Well, that's all for today's words. Thanks for listening.
We hope you enjoyed learning with us today.
Remember to practice and study the new words you learned.
See you next time.
Bye for now.